You are now listening to Talk Your Jits podcast.
Welcome back to the Talk Your Jits podcast. This podcast is, as the name implies, all about jiu-jitsu. I'm your host, Lamar Smith, and today's guest is a blue belt who trains at Sugar Hill MMA located in Houston, Texas. Ladies and gentlemen, Royce Banuelos.
Hey, how is it? How's it going?
Good, brother. How's it going?
Going well. Did training this morning, did training Saturday morning, and anytime I start my day with some training, I feel a little better. So
always, man. I'm feeling that now. I didn't go to the gym today, so I'm kind of like, so I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go at least go to the gym when I get done with today's episode. So I'll be all right.
Awesome.
Well, man, without further ado, man, if you want to formally introduce yourself again, by all means, and let's hear about your jiu-jitsu journey.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm Royce Banuelos. I'm in marketing, but I'm also a cartoonist, doodler out of Houston, Texas. I do a web comic called LOL Roll, where I do a weekly jiu-jitsu-based comic and looking to expand it as well. Working on some stories, more long-form stories, not just the weekly type stuff. I've been training jiu-jitsu about 3.5 years now. You know, I'm fully in the hobbyist category. I go maybe 2-3 times a week type of a thing.
Okay.
I'm 38 years old. I got kids and, other hobbies, but so I'm definitely in like that hobbyist type centric. I got started doing jiu-jitsu shortly after getting a divorce and then needing to kind of find something to connect with. And boy, there's a lot of connection in jiu-jitsu. So yeah, so it seemed like a good fit.
A lot of connection. Oh man, but continue.
Oh well, I don't know how much more to share, but yeah. So, I saw your post. I'm on a couple of Facebook groups. I saw your post looking for guests, and I'd love to talk more, especially what I can do in the comic space. What kind of stories I could tell on that are jiu-jitsu based, or maybe even expand beyond martial arts, or beyond jiu-jitsu to like all of martial arts, maybe different stories that I can illustrate from there.
Gotcha. So you found it, and what made you hook to the sport?
Well, when I grew up, I didn't really like to be hugged. Like I wasn't really like that type of person. Like I was kind of avoidance of like physical connection. And so I kind of was like, man, I don't really like that. I feel like I should be a little bit more comfortable with this. Full story behind it is that my ex had pushed me, like she'd physically pushed me out of the house one day. I was standing there, the door, getting ready for work. We had a little argument, and she physically pushed me out the door. And like in that moment, I really had it like, oh man, I really don't know what to do here. You know what I mean? Like I'm not gonna maul her or anything, but I'm like, man, I really, what would my options be? Like what, I really don't know how to control somebody. And so that's what kind of got me into it. As far as like, I don't necessarily want to train something that would like hurt somebody. I'm not really crazy aggressive as a person anyway, but I like the idea of if somebody's getting physical, a way to kind of basically shut them down in some sense.
Yeah, protect yourself.
Yeah, protect myself, protect others. If somebody's getting out of hand, how do you control the situation? How do you get them to gift wrap? Now that I know what gift wrap is and stuff like that. So that's really what kind of sparked it. And on top of it, I had a friend who trained, and he just suggested it to me. I'm 6'2", like at the time I was 190, 200 pounds. And he said, hey man, you got a good body for jiu-jitsu. And I was like, okay, I guess I'll try it out. so it was a lot of things that just kind of fit and made a lot of sense. And the way I tell it to everybody that I'm too dumb to quit at this point. So
yeah. I mean, I think it's just with when it comes to martial arts, especially being a passive person, like no one wants to like go out and hurt somebody.
Mhm.
It's just always kind of be in that mindset of like, I don't want to necessarily hurt nobody, but at the same time, I don't want nobody to hurt me.
Right.
So, I rather, learn this to protect myself, because I'm the same way. Like, I'm a hobbyist. Like you said, I'm too stupid to quit. I've been doing this for like 7 years now. It has like engulfed my life, and I can't see my life without it. But it's like, will I be mad if I never make it to ADCC or Worlds? Probably not, but it's just became a thing that I love doing so much. And it's like, hey, let's see how long I can, let's see how long I can do this.
Yeah.
That's pretty much how it became for me.
Man, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah. So, have you ever competed or thought about competing?
Yeah, I've competed a couple of times.
Okay.
And it's something I want to get back into, but I've got a 1.5-year-old baby that takes up a lot of my time, and so
congratulations.
Thank you. And so it's it's like I bought a new house, and it's a little bit of a fixer upper, and then I had my baby, and I was like, man, I don't. It's like I want to compete, but I'd hate to compete not at like in a good form, basically. Like I don't want to go out there and then it just not be a good competitor for everybody else. So yeah, I mean, it's probably some dumb excuse I'm making up to not do it, but I'm not gonna say
it's an excuse. I guess it's something that we tell ourselves to make us feel comfortable of not doing it, because
no doubt.
I'm the same way. Like, I got 2 kids, married. I got trying to build a school, trying to find a place for a school, and still wanting to compete. And I'm the same way. Like, I haven't been training that much these last couple months. Do I really want to do this? But I know for a fact that if this tournament comes and passes me up, I'm gonna be so mad I didn't at least try.
I gotcha.
So it's like a two-edged sword. It's like I don't want to waste the time because I don't feel like I've been training properly enough. At the same time, it's like, dang, if I don't do this now, I have to wait until like January for the next grappling industries or something like that. So
gotcha. Yeah, I mean, thankfully we have. It seems like about once a month there's a different competition going on. There's like Turtle Guard tournament. There's stuff at, like you say, grappling industries. World Jiu-Jitsu League comes here like I think twice a year or something like that. So
okay, so yeah, that shows I need to move to Texas, because
it's like we were talking before, like Austin is really like the new mecca of jiu-jitsu. So it's like there's a lot. There's always tournaments going on. Here in Houston anyway.
Yeah, like I said, we get grappling industries in Detroit and kind of like some of the surrounding areas in Michigan. Naga, I haven't seen that, unless I must have not like overlooked them. I haven't seen Naga that many times here. And we get there's another one that we usually get here, but it slips my mind. But
I gotcha. What's the scene like up there in Detroit?
It's a slowly growing type thing. It seems like every couple months you might run into a new school, but like as far as competing, we have like one big one. Grapple in a Temple is the kind of one that's been growing here lately. Well, it's probably been here longer than I realized, because I haven't really looked into it like that. But there definitely need to be more. Like, there definitely need to be more, even if they're just local tournaments, just like more local tournaments to kind of like get out there, and for the hobbyists like us who necessarily don't really do like the big tournaments, but still kind of want to get that experience.
Right.
So,
want to be a little battle tested.
Yeah, a little bit, just to kind of see where your game's at versus you training with everybody all the time. So
yeah,
makes sense.
I gotcha. Yeah, and that is one cool thing about Houston. Not to keep like flexing on Houston, but it's like there's an open mat almost nearly every single day of the week. There's a school you can go to, train with different people, different bodies, kind of get get a feel of what's out there and kind of where you're at. So
yeah, I wish, man, because it's just funny because I was just today, or last couple of days, like my daughter goes back to school next week, and my youngest daughter, she starts her program to get her acclimated for school. And it's kind of like that time gap where I don't have nothing to do. So I've been like kind of trying to find schools and like, in the area that has like open mats or morning classes or stuff like that. And there's not many.
Yeah.
So it's just like, oh man, that needs to change.
Yeah.
Like, real bad.
Yeah. It's I guess I didn't realize how spoiled I had it here in Houston, because
you do.
Yeah, I had no idea. I thought this was normal. I thought it was like, oh yeah, there's like open mats like every Friday, every Tuesday, every like just I gotcha.
Man, I wish like because there's like where I'm at, I'm a little closer to like downtown Detroit. And there's, I think from where I'm at, there's probably like 2 or 3 schools that's probably like 10, maybe 10, 15 minutes in different directions from me. So it's just like, yeah, that's cool. But if I'm like still gotta travel so far out just to find a school that kind of like fit in my schedule is kind of hard. So there's not too many. It seems like everybody's class times are the same.
Gotcha.
So it's like, so it's just like everybody has classes at like 6 in the morning, which is cool. I can't make those classes, but like it's the afternoon classes I wish people I had more of. But
I gotcha. Dude, that's like when you're like listening to the radio and like the station starts playing a commercial, so you think you're gonna switch to another station, but they're all playing commercials at the same time.
Exactly. But yeah. So what about you got a jiu-jitsu comic, which is pretty awesome. So what is that about? Again, how long you been doing that?
So I've been doing that a little over a year. I think this was I do once a week. And so this was like I think 67th comic that I posted today. So
okay.
little over a year. And it was something I wanted to do kind of basically when I started doing the jiu-jitsu, but I was like, let me hold off just in case it's like, something I can really commit to. So what I did for a while was I just wrote ideas down. Like I just wrote down, oh, this would be a neat idea for a comic. This would be an idea for a comic. But really the idea behind it is I wanted to draw cartoons, and I like the format of like a weekly comic, not serial. So it's not like characters doing the same characters type of a thing. Just so that it could be in a format that could kind of be shared easily without having to know the characters. And then I also wanted something more family friendly, because when I do go to a tournament, because I'll go to tournaments too to support friends and be there for my teammates. It's like when the kids are competing, it's packed. It's packed. Like, it is packed. Everybody is there for the kids. And then when the adults show up, everybody leaves. And so I'm like, okay, if I do a comic and if I want it to have any level of success, it's going to have to be like family friendly. Like it's going to have to be like it's going to have to be able to like, you can share it with your newsletter or something like that. You know what I mean? It has to be like, it has to be age appropriate, I would say, because I mean, there are people who do jiu-jitsu comics and jiu-jitsu memes that are definitely adult geared. And I love those. Those are funny. But I just thought, in order for me to kind of find a niche, it would have to be kind of in this family demographic.
Gotcha. And that's kind of like when I heard you did that, like you did the comic book, and that's kind of one of the things I've been I've been kind of playing the idea of something a little bit more serious of a jiu-jitsu comic. But my main thing would be like, how would you gear this towards everybody versus just people that does jiu-jitsu?
Right.
Because it's like, we understand what's going on. Like we can easily look at a picture and be like, oh yeah, I know what that is, to keep it moving. But the average person would be like, ew. Like, like why is he between that man's legs like that? Or why is he, on top of that person like that? And that's the only thing.
Completely.
But that's one of the things.
Yeah. Which, honestly, I thought was kind of neat about CJI, this past weekend, was how they had the 10-9 scoring. It felt like it was more palatable to non-jiu-jitsu fans to like, oh, okay, well, he was more aggressive, so he got 10 points. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and it's what's funny about that is I was watching it, and they were going over the rule set because I didn't even hear the rules about they were having a specific rule set until the CJ started, and I was like, okay, so they did like a 10 set, a 10-point rule system like MMA. They did 3 rounds, which was like different,
right?
But I don't know. To me, I think it just made me more engaged in it.
Right.
As a practitioner and as a fan of like, MMA, it kind of like, it was like, okay, I like this because it does push the pace. You don't have to worry about people stalling because they will stop. And, you have to work because you have a point system now. So you can lose on points or you can lose by submission. So
for sure.
So it was just okay, this makes it so much interesting.
Yeah. And I think for the casual, like if you've never watched jiu-jitsu before, it makes a little more sense. Somebody's pushing the action, somebody gets close to a submission. Okay, well, they got 10 points. The other guy, versus like, most jiu-jitsu people I talk to, people who practice jiu-jitsu, people who say they love jiu-jitsu, they either don't watch a lot of like IBJJF, or they don't watch it, or they don't really understand the point system at all. And so even people within the hobby have a hard time understanding the point system. So I think the 10-9 is a little bit clearer for that. And so I think that's if you do create jiu-jitsu content, that's like a way to present it more of a general audience. Because you're right. There's going to be some very specific things, and I do that in my own comic. I have very specific jiu-jitsu things that like are going to be lost, and I know they're lost on so many people. Like my mom doesn't get it, but she still shares it. So,
because even for me as a person who who practices sport, who loves the sport, who just would rather just be in this sport, sometimes it does get a little like, okay, this match needs to hurry up.
Right.
Even though I know what's going on, it's like, all right, how long we got? We still got like 4 minutes. All right. And see, like they've been fighting for like 30. So it's like, all right,
Dude, so after CJI, I told myself I'll go back and I'll try to watch some of the ADCC stuff. But when I heard like the Gordon Ryan and Felipe Pena match was like 2-0, I was like, I'm not gonna subject myself to that. I know that's like a 20-minute match. And if it's 2-0, that's not something that's no. I don't think it's worth watching. Especially it's their 4th time competing against each other. It's not 2-0. No, I don't want to watch that Gordon Ryan match.
Yeah, I honestly didn't watch none of the ADCC this year. I did all. I just watched the CGI. Well, obviously because it was free, so it was more available versus paying $100 for one event. But
yeah,
I don't know.
Definitely.
Yeah, you're right. I saw a few clips. I saw a couple of the matches I did want to see.
Yeah. I think everybody saw Marigali get taken down. That was like the big like. That was like whoa, what happened?
Right. Because a friend of mine who trained, he had posted about it, and as soon as he said it, it popped up on my Instagram feed.
Yeah,
just that part of that match, and I was just like, "What?"
Yeah.
Who? It's like I don't know what do you take from that? You got the one of the most dominant black belt competitors be beat by a purple belt, and I don't want to be like, oh, that just shows you like belt color don't matter, which to me it doesn't, even in the sense it kind of just shows like, man, who wanted more,
right?
Honestly,
right. Yeah,
because like no one saw this coming.
No, not at all. And I think it's and how important, it's that old phrase like, fighters make the match, basically. And I think it's a similar situation. What's it? Michael Pixie? He had a better stand-up game, so it's his game versus Marigali's game, and it worked out very, very well for him. So
yeah, it sure did.
It's styles make match. Styles make match. Yeah. That's what I'm thinking of.
Yeah, it was definitely a good time to be a jiu-jitsu fan. You know, these last few months with the build up with ADCC versus CJI,
Mhm.
and the Craig Jones and Gabby match was like, everybody was talking about that. Even before
Right.
the match was happening, they were like talking about it.
Right.
So it was definitely like I said, definitely fun being a fan this like last few weekends.
Oh yeah. Hey, something I wanted to ask too. Since you're an artist, have you noticed in your 7 years of doing jiu-jitsu, have you noticed your art change at all?
Yeah, and the way I approach art is a lot different too.
No,
Because
interesting.
I usually I approach everything like a role now. so so everything is like I'm
Like, do you
just
like slap hands, fist bump with the
stretching out.
canvas?
Yeah, you know.
Say, all right, brother, don't hurt me now.
All right, let's go. Set the clock. We got 10 minutes. Let's see what we're gonna get done. But no, like it because I do a lot of painting, so I do like a lot of like large canvases. So you kind of have to like whatever I'm drawing, make sure is proportioned to the scale of from like my reference to the canvas. So just really just taking the time out to like really focus on the game plan of like how long I'm going to work on this, what part am I going to work on, and just make sure I'm keeping myself in line and focus on my goal for just say an hour. Like if I'm going to paint for an hour, this is what I'm going to focus on for an hour. So like I said, just I treat it like a match. Like if this is an hour match, this is how I'm going to handle it. So that way I can make it through my match and not be so dang on burnt out. So
Gotcha.
that's how it affected me. But that's just like in general, jiu-jitsu. Like jiu-jitsu is like the main focus of everything.
Gotcha. So you kind of have like a systematic approach to it.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah, they're really nice paintings too. I know. I checked out some of your stuff before. I'm like, man, it's really good paintings.
Thank you. I realized that just flying, just going out there and just flying out the seat of my pants in jiu-jitsu or in art doesn't work for me no more. So gotta learn how to strategize, gotta learn how to put that focus and time on what needs to be done, and get it done. As simple as that.
That's awesome.
I mean, what about you?
With art, I have it opens up like poses a lot more for sure. Whereas I think before I think I used to be a little bit more safer with like cartoons and stuff. Like I didn't want to take a risk of drawing looking bad or like a pose looking bad. Whereas now it's like it's so fun seeing all sorts of different types of body positions and stuff in jiu-jitsu, and not just seeing it, but then also experiencing it.
Yeah.
So it kind of helps me get like a better frame of reference, to where I'm like, okay, would his hand be here? Would his butt be this way? So it's kind of like it helps out on that front, and just like ways to kind of show movement or integrate movement without actually having the image move. So yeah, for sure, it helps me understand the body in a totally different way.
Yeah. I mean, plus jiu-jitsu, it definitely helps me think better, man. So it's just like that's why I love to approach everything like a jiu-jitsu roll, because I know that's usually the best place I can think is under pressure. Like someone trying to kill me, I think better when someone's trying to kill me. But it helps. It helps a lot. And no matter what it is, it's like, okay, how would I handle this situation if this was jiu-jitsu?
Got
Tell
it. If
myself
somebody was
that,
trying to
and then
kill
it's
me,
like, yeah, like how would I handle this in the situation where someone's trying to kill me?
I got you. Dude,
so
fun.
you're the school that you train at now, was that your like the school your friend was training at that got you to come, or what?
No, it's honestly, I go to the school that's most convenient for me. and that's
Okay.
Yeah, it's right between where I work and where I live. And so it's easy to leave work, stop there and train, and then go home. So it's like it really is a place of convenience. You know, if they ever move locations and I got to drive a little bit more out of the way, I'll probably find just another school to train at. And I honestly do think, like, if you are kind of like hobbyist level like me, if this is like a part-time hobby type thing for you, I feel like that's probably the best way to stay consistent with it, is find a place that's most consistent, you know.
True. Yeah.
Just because it's like I don't really have an excuse not to go train. That, you know, it's right there. You know, it's 10 minutes from where I live. It's 10 minutes from where I work. So it's really not a reason not to go train, not to go do it, you know. Plus, you know, I like the coach. I like the people who are there. You know, we're not like a heavy competition school. So it's a lot of people around my age, maybe a little bit younger. And you know, we have some guys that are competitive who are strong, and I'm there to be their punching bag, and happily be their punching bag. And then, but a lot of the crew too is a little bit older, and so I
all right. So where were we? What were we talking about? Oh, we were talking about the convenience of your school, the convenience. Of
right, yeah. And I guess that too. You know, I'll go to open mats maybe you know, 2 times a month or so, or I'll do like a drop in. Like I said, there's a ton of schools in the Houston area, so I figure it doesn't matter all too much where I go, as long as I like it and I like the people there, and I can get in training and still learn and still grow and still build. Then it's you know, why would I pick somewhere else, you know? Like I said, I go to an open mat, I go to another school seminar, I go do a drop in somewhere else, and I can learn and pick up there and bring it to my school and just kind of grow from there, you know.
Was it weird for you at first, like visiting like other schools?
It, like, the only thing weird about it is that, you know, it's kind of like that you know, a little bit of nervousness first time you're in a new environment, you know, and like everybody else knows each other, so it's a little like, oh, okay, well, you know, how do I want to make sure I make a good impression or something like that. But that was the only thing that was really weird about it. You know, and like, you know, I was a touring musician for several years. So, you know, I had to go to a lot of different situations where it was like, nobody knows who I am. Nobody cares who I am. You know, but I got to integrate pretty quickly here. So, yeah.
I don't know. It always felt like at first, because I didn't like start visiting other schools until like I maybe like a brown belt.
Oh wow.
So yeah.
Oh,
so
wow.
when I got to like, so when I finally visit other schools, I felt like I was cheating. It's like, I don't think I should be here. I don't think I'm supposed to be here, you know?
Yeah. That's like, that's the old, you know, the ring comes off. It's kind of, the gi comes off, you know.
Right. It's so many emotions, because you know, you don't want to go to another school, especially being like, you know, a higher rank. You don't want to go and just beat up everybody, but at the same time, you don't want to go to another school and get beat up by everybody.
Right.
So it's like, so it's just like,
I would imagine that too.
What do I do?
Yeah, you show up in a new school with a brown belt, you've got like a huge target on your back.
Because you know, because you know, growing up in this sport, like you always kind of hear about, you know, schools not accepting people coming, you know, from the outside, or they just like, you know, they'll just try to like, you know, beat you up and you know, try to hurt you for showing up to their school. And it's like, damn, I don't want that to happen. I just want to go train. I love the sport. I don't care if it's a Gracie school. I don't care if it's a, you know, a 10th Planet. I just want to learn jiu-jitsu. Like, I don't care about that stuff, you know, but not everybody thinks that way.
Yeah. You know, it is probably school-based more too, and probably more of an old school, because I've definitely heard stories, especially like with Gracie schools and stuff like that. And I think just the Gracie family overall probably felt a little butthurt that it became Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu like across the board and not Gracie Jiu-Jitsu. And so they kind of like introduced this like neat idea into America. And then like other people were like, well, we'll call it Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu and we'll just do it our way. But, you know, thanks for your contributions. So I think that made the Gracies pretty litigious and made them a little like, you know, extra I don't know, combative in that sense. So, but
Mm-hmm.
as far as like this area, this community, or like other, like if I'm out of town for work or something and I do a drop in at a school, I've never really had any issues or anything like that.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's like you said, it's just from old traditions, because I don't see that now
Mm-hmm.
a lot. And the few people that I've talked to, even like people out of state, and it's like, hey man, if you ever in town, come through. It's like, oh, all right, that's cool, So it's I guess it's changing, because it's starting to, like, everyone is starting to do jujitsu. It's becoming more than just, uh how the Gracies had it, where it was like, it was just so sacred. No one could do jujitsu unless you're a specific, unless you're Brazilian, you shouldn't be doing Brazilian jujitsu.
Right.
But now it's like, it's for everybody now. Like if you're young, old, male, female, black, white, Brazilian, Chinese, whatever, if you want to learn jujitsu, you can come learn jujitsu.
Heck yeah. Yeah.
So
yeah, I for sure. It's just kind of been more accepting, and it probably has something to do with, like, in all reality, like there's such a small number of people who do jiu-jitsu, so it's like that you kind of have to be okay with, like, going to traveling different schools, and so you kind of have to be okay with it. You know what I mean?
yeah.
Yeah.
At this point, it kind of comes with the territory.
Yeah, you kind of have to be okay with it. Like that's fine. Like what else are we gonna like force you to stay here, and then you just won't pay us anymore and just go to another school? So it's like, all right, I guess, all right, it's cool. Just travel around and stuff like that. So
Right.
Plus, I mean, I don't know if it seems like too, like when like UFC 1 was around, it seemed like a lot of jiu-jitsu talk was almost like, this is like the penultimate when it comes to self-defense and fighting, and this is the best ever, and it's only for the elite, this and all that kind of stuff. But nowadays, like, especially, you talk to a lot of people who do jiu-jitsu, and it's like, man, it's just good mentally for me. It's a good, like, it centers me, and so I think even that, even just framing I don't know what else to call it, so I'll call it the sales pitch. Even framing the sales pitch of jiu-jitsu as more around more of a calming thing, more of like that community thing, more of that, like, it's just good for your mental health more than anything else. Is, I think, helps with that kind of mentality as well.
Yeah, because when I started jiu-jitsu, I knew little to nothing about it. I mean, everyone knows about like taekwondo and karate and stuff like that, because that's what the 90s and 80s was built on, kung fu movies. So everyone knew what karate was.
Sure.
So even now, someone find out like, oh, you do jiu-jitsu, or you do a martial art and you say jiu-jitsu, they're like, oh, like, like karate?
Right.
No. Nothing like karate. But anyway, so it was always like, it was like viewed as like something brutal. It was just like, it was just very destructive and stuff like that. And then when you go back and listen to, like, the history of jiu-jitsu and how it like came over here, and how it was when people used to do like heavy dojo storming, and like you could just get your door kicked in and get your ass kicked by like 6 Brazilians to tell you stop doing jiu-jitsu, and it's like, damn. It's like, damn, it was just like that. But like now you starting to see people that are more open about, like, oh, jiu-jitsu is more than just a martial art. It's a way of life. It's a philosophy. It's therapeutic, because it challenges you mentally, physically, emotionally, all at the same time. And you have no control over it. You just have to accept what's about to happen. So,
and you either accept it.
Acceptable.
Yeah, you either accept it or you submit. You have to learn how to submit. You have to learn how to tap. Like, okay, you've got me. Like, I've been bested. I'm done. You win.
Right.
Which is hard. I think that's hard, especially for guys. I think that's a very hard thing to get over. That you do have to submit in life sometimes, and you do have to submit to another man who's got his butt on your face. Sometimes you have to say, okay, I'm helpless here.
I have a grown man's crotch sitting on my temple right now. what is there else for me to do? Like I can't. I have to accept that. I have to accept that.
Exactly. Yeah. So.
Well, yeah, that's. I mean, believe it or not, that's just. I think that's the truth, man. Because you see it a lot, where you get these newcomers, especially like the strong guys that don't feel like they necessarily need it, but they want to try it anyway because they think it's stupid and anybody can do it. And then you get beat up by the smallest chick in the room, but you end up getting your arm broke because you're so manly to not, you feel like you'll lose masculinity if you tap to someone causing bodily harm, male or female. Like you'd rather get your ankle or limb broke just to not say you didn't tap.
Right.
But now you got a stupid medical bill.
You got a dumb medical bill, and then a lot of times I think it's that. Then there's like so much pride they don't want to show back up. I guess they'd rather like write it off like, oh well, they got lucky or something, rather than show up and learn how to actually do it.
Yeah.
Because I see a lot of big guys quit. Big guys will start and they'll try to power through everything, and it just frustrates them, and it's harder for them to learn, I think, in a lot of ways. Whereas I think somebody who's smaller, it's a little bit easier to learn. Because they go into it accepting they're going to get smashed. And so when they get smashed, it's not as like heartbreaking. So it's easier to go in and say, hey, I'm the little guy getting smashed. Okay. Like that's going to happen. And then you have to learn the skills. You have to learn the techniques. Whereas I think the bigger you are, the harder it is to like, you tell yourself, okay, I'm stronger, I'm bigger, but I don't know the techniques. So now I have to learn the techniques.
And I definitely, in my first time ever trying jiu-jitsu was at an open, I got open mat. And the two people that I rode with, one guy was younger than me, and the second guy I rode with was much older than me. And they both beat the shit out of me equally. Yeah. And being a big guy, I'm thinking to myself like, yeah, man, I was like, I'm about 5'9", 5'10" on a good day. I think I was probably like pushing like, probably like 270-ish or something like that. So I'm thinking I'm a big, strong guy, but being easily maneuvered by a guy I got like 30, 40 pounds over. It's like, what is this? And I went home and I'm talking to my wife. She's like, oh, how was it? I'm like, I don't know. Because I'm like, how did this happen? Like, how was this guy that was, old enough to probably be my dad? I got 20, 30 pounds over this guy, and he just made me feel like I was nothing. So I was like, I could quit. I thought about it. Yeah. But it haunted me. It haunted me. Like, how did this little guy do this? So I was like, nah, I got to go back. I got to go back and learn this. So,
oh man, that's cool.
7 years later, I'm still doing it, So definitely an ego checker, man. Definitely humbles you a lot.
For sure, yeah.
All right, Royce, man. We came to the part of the show, man. We like everybody that comes on, past or present, no particular order. The top 3 people you would love to get a chance to roll with.
Oh man. Man, it's hard to say. I think number 1 would be Hodger. Hodger's probably my favorite jiu-jitsu player of all time. And then I think just for the just for the notoriety, I would say John Danaher would be up there as well.
Oh yeah, definitely.
And then just because I think he's got such a fun personality, I would say Hinner Gracie.
Hey, Royce and Hinner are two of the people I'm like, man, I know these matches will be over so fast, but so much knowledge so much can be learned in those like couple seconds.
I don't know. But I think they, how it is when especially when you roll with an old timer who's been doing it forever. Like they'll play. Of course. The gym I go to is a Royce Gracie gym, and he's been by several times to kind of teach. And anytime he rolls, it's always real light. I mean, he's selective, obviously, with who he rolls with, but it's always just real light and playful. So yeah, so I think it'd be kind of similar. You know what I mean? Like, let's say if I rolled with Hodger, he's got nothing to prove, so I think it'd be just kind of a fun kind of roll around. And I'm not going to try to kill anybody. I'm not, I'm not going to try to. Okay, let me try to get a fast one on him. So,
right. I mean, you'd be dumb to be like, okay, am I actually going to try to go full blast on him?
Exactly. So, I don't even do that like with local brown belts. I don't even like try to like. I'm not gonna full blast because I'm like I'm not. I'm here to learn. Help me. Like,
right. Exactly. I don't care if you are a black belt, a red belt, a white belt, or blue belt. I love to learn from any and everybody. Mm-hmm. So if we roll in and I see something, like I see you do something, oh, best believe we're gonna be talking about it. Like, no, I need you to show me that again. I don't care. Like, show me that again.
Yeah. So, yeah. What just happened? What was that?
Yeah, because I was rolling with this one guy. He's a high level competitor, and he caught me. He transitioned from my guard to side control, and in the midst of it, he caught me in the darts. And wow. as soon as he caught me in it, I just laid there. He's like, "You all right?" I'm like, "No, I'm trying to figure out how you got that." So he was like, "Want me to show you?" I'm like, "Yeah, of course I want you to show me. I'm not gonna you're not just gonna let that pass." Like, yes, show me what you just did. Right. And we probably worked like another 10, 15 minutes, but yeah, that's how I am, man. I love to learn.
Man, yeah. That's honestly my favorite moments is when I feel something different. I experience, oh wow, I didn't, I didn't know I could get thrown over like that. That's cool. How'd you do that? What was that connection you made? So yeah, those moments are awesome and fun. So
yeah, it's always fun. Always willing to learn, man. That's how you're supposed to be in this sport. No matter what your age, no matter what your rank, if you're willing to learn, get out there and learn.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how I feel about it.
I gotcha.
Well, all right, Royce, man. Unless you got any questions for me, man, fire away. If not, let the people know where they can find you. Shout out your comic, shout out your school, man. The floor is all yours.
Awesome. Yeah. So I post on Instagram and Facebook currently. So if you're on Instagram or if you're on Facebook, you can just search LOL roll. LOL, like laugh out loud, and then roll, like we're rolling. And so that's really the best way to find me on that. I did have a question though, because I was curious about this. One thing I thought was interesting, like at the Olympics, Olympic judo, like pretty much like there was who was it, France, I think. All the competitors were black, and then when I look at jiu-jitsu, I don't see a lot of black competitors. Is that something you run into, or do you face any, like, I don't know, challenges, I guess, in the jiu-jitsu community like that?
I can't say I have, because I'm not, it's not like I'm a big competitor, but I did notice that too. There was like a lot of black people in judo, but as far as that type of adversity in jiu-jitsu, I don't think I've seen it. If I have, it's very subtle, because it's nothing that ever came up in a conversation or anything like that.
Yeah, I know. I've never really had a conversation about it before, but it's just something that I noticed just rolling around different gyms down here. Houston, we have a pretty big Hispanic population, so I see pretty good number of Hispanic people. I see good number of white people, and then some Asians as well. But then every so often, I'll see black people. I'm like, I wonder what's with jiu-jitsu, and I don't know.
I mean, I guess that's something I might have to I'm not gonna say pay, just be an eye out for it now, because I really never really noticed it, or nor paid attention to it, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know.
Right, I don't know. As long as I can, As long as I can still do jiu-jitsu, that's all that matters to me. So,
Heck yeah, man.
Right. Well, all right,
Well, yeah,
Royce,
thank you
man,
so much for having me. This was so fun. This was awesome. Yeah.
Oh man, appreciate it, man. Further down the line, once you get your purple belt, or if you want to come back and talk about the comic a little bit more, once I know you want to, branch off into some other stuff, but yeah, man, I would love to have you, love to have you back.
Awesome. Yeah, I'm working on some like more formal comic book style stories, and so like more long form type stories and stuff like that. But yeah, I'd love to come back on. And if anybody listening, if anybody's interested in using any of the comics for, like, let's say their newsletters or any of their kind of marketing material, feel free. The comics are free to use for anybody, and anybody's got a gym or something like that, and you want to help grow the sport of jiu-jitsu or your self-defense or whatever, feel free to use them. You don't got to contact me. Just push it out there. Make sure you keep the at LOL roll, but feel free.
Right. At least a tag or a shout out or something would suffice.
But yeah, really, really appreciate your time today.
No problem, man. No problem at all. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Well, that's the end of today's episode. I would love to thank Royce one more time for coming on the show and blessing us with his jiu-jitsu knowledge. Hope you guys enjoyed. Please go and follow our Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube pages. Stay up to date on all future episodes. This has been Talk Your Jits podcast. Keep rolling, keep grinding, and remember, long live jiu-jitsu. Have a great day.